Hi everyone, I'm JT Pilot, and today we'll be making another video. This time this will be a random mile airport update on my Austin-Bergstrom International Airport. This is the 5th random mile airport update, and this is the 2nd random mile airport update for September of 2022. So yes, this video will be pre-recorded well in advance. I'm currently pre-recording this in August. And yeah, so this video will be coming out mid-September. Crazy to say, so yeah. So this update is based off of the Wednesday of the final week of August, and it's also based off Tuesday and Thursday of that week as well. So yes, this is the airport that won the poll on Instagram. Lots of you have requested me to do an Austin airport update, and yes, today we'll be doing an Austin airport update. Yeah, lots of miles will be in this airport update, and I've been really excited to make this video, and yeah, so it's cool having another random airport update. So yeah. I want to give you some brief information about Austin-Bergstrom International Airport. So Austin-Bergstrom International Airport is divided up into two sections. We have the South Terminal right here, which consists of free gates, and there's this free airlines over here, which is Allegiant and Frontier. And then we have the main terminal building, which consists of 34 gates, and that's where all the other airlines at Austin are. And yes, I'll show you that terminal later on in this video. I'll show you an overview for that terminal later on in this video. So yes, the South Terminal also is the low-cost terminal. There's no jet bridges or anything. It's just there's air stairs to each aircraft. So so it's just a cheap terminal for Frontier and Allegiant, because why not? So yeah, so this airport update once again will be realistic. There'll be flight numbers and everything for all the model aircraft in this airport update. So yes, so pretty exciting indeed. So yeah, so nonetheless, we'll be starting with the very first aircraft in this airport update. We'll be starting with the South Terminal, then we'll proceed on to the main terminal, then we'll be proceeding over to some taxi aircraft, and then we're proceeding over to the Hardstands as well. And this is crazy insane how much Austin has developed over the last couple of years, and especially with American Southwest. So you'll see that later on in this video. So start with the very first aircraft. So starting with the very first aircraft, here we Frontier Airbus A320 and the Champion Bronco livery. So that Gemini this model, probably the last airport that this model will be in for a little bit, just because I'll be getting a new Gemini release very soon, likely the week after this video comes out. So yeah, pretty cool there indeed. So yeah, so this Frontier A320neo has just arrived from Denver and making a return flight out there as Frontier Flight 619. So pretty normal service at Austin. Frontier doesn't really have too many flights at Austin. They just have regular destinations, no unique destinations, unlike the next airline, which is Allegiant Airlines. So yes, Allegiant Airlines does have a focus city at Austin, Texas, but they kind of have a focus city at every airport, so it's not really a big focus city in my terms. So yes, so they do have two gates at Austin. They do have a wide range of flights, a lot of random cities. So yes, so yeah, this is Allegiant's business model right here. It's a great example of us having this parking at the secondary terminal and parking at a terminal without jet bridges. That's kind of Allegiant's thing right there. So yeah, so this fly out amazing Panama's Allegiant A320 will say he has just arrived in from Asheville, North Carolina. That's Allegiant Flight 1507. And he making return flight out to Sarasota as Allegiant Flight 1504. So pretty cool we were able to include those two routes. There'll be lots of interesting routes in this airport update, so pretty exciting indeed. Moving on to our next aircraft here, the Allegiant Airbus A319-100 that fly out amazing Panama's release. Yes, that Gemini version should be in stock very soon, so yes, I won't be getting that version though, just because this version is just flat out amazing. So I just want to mention that there. So this Allegiant A319 has just arrived in. We'll say he's just arriving from Suez Fall. So they're making a return flight out there as Allegiant Flight 1391. So that route's normally on A320, but I don't have another A320 from Allegiant, so we'll be playing on the A319 this airport update. So yes, there'll be some substitutions in this airport update. Not many. There'll just be a couple in this airport update, just to make this airport update have a little bit more routes and variety. So yeah. So that's it for the South Terminal at Austin. I'm going to give you a little quick overview of the South Terminal. So this is the South Terminal. That's it. So it's directly to the south of the main terminal. So yeah, so there's a taxiway there's a couple of taxiways in between. It's a way larger distance than what I have represented at this airport day. Yes, that's not the room that represented, and I don't want to make this airport day into two parts like I have the last couple of random airport dates. So yeah. So that's it for the South Terminal at Austin Bergstrom Airport. Let's move on to the main terminal building, the most highly anticipated section of this video, and I'm really excited to show this section off to you guys. Alright, so moving on to the layout of my Austin-Bergstrom International Mall Airport. So yes, this will be the layout of my Austin-Bergstrom International Mall Airport. So here in the center, we have the main terminal building, which consists of all the major airlines. So on the left here, we have the United section, and then we have the Alaska section on the far left, and then we have the American Airlines section, which is fairly large at Austin. And yeah, so in real life, so the terminal's straight on, and then it budges out a little bit right here, the Southwest section, which I represented a little bit, but I wish I could have made it bulge out a little bit more. Yes, the Southwest section is kind of smaller in this airport, but it's supposed to be in real life. They have more gates, but I did not have enough room to represent that. So we added some hardstands for Southwest Airlines aircraft and some extra aircraft. Yes, at Austin, they have several hardstands because this airport is somewhat slot restricted, so we did represent that right here. So then we have the South Terminal right here, which is way farther south, but I just don't have the space to represent that. So, yeah. Then continuing to the east now. And then here I had the Delta Airlines section right here. So they occupy these gates right here. Then they occupy a couple of gates over here. I did not get the main gates over here because I want to add a little bit more diversity. And we have seen several Delta aircraft in the last couple of airport dates, so they only got 4 gates for this airport date. And they mainly serve Airbuses to Austin, which is crazy to say. They don't serve any 757s, no 737s or anything like that. It's all Airbuses. So yes, they mainly serve the A319s, the A320s, the A320s, and A321s to Austin. So yeah, no 737s at all. Then we had the one JetBlue gate right here, so the sole JetBlue gate there. And JetBlue serves mainly A320s. They do serve some A220s, but I don't have an A220 model yet because one certain manufacturer refuses to release it. Gemini jets, but yeah. Then we have the end of the main terminal right here. This is the international section, so we have British Airways, KLM, Lufthansa. In real life, they don't occupy all these 3 gates, but they occupy these 2 right here. I just wanted to add extra international aircraft. And then over this side, this is more international gates right here, and the Delta Airlines section, and Spirit, and yes, in the Spirit Airlines section, Spirit does occupy this gate. So yes, and then. But I just put the Air Kansas City United just to have more diversity in this airport date. So yeah, so then over here, this would be like the car park area. Then the this is the main road will come up to the terminal building. That will be represented right there. Then we have the taxiway this is the taxiway that goes onto the runway over here, and the cargo terminals over here as well to the right. So yes, we do have some cargo aircraft in this airport day as well. Forgot to mention that. So pretty cool to see there. Some Prime Air aircrafts, which haven't been featured in a long time. So it's grateful to include those in today's update. So great sight to see there. Yes, and then we have the main taxiway right here, and we have some taxiing aircraft on that. So this is a jam-packed airport day. There's around 41 miles in this airport date. So yeah, grateful to see that. And yeah, Austin's been booming in real life. It's been rapidly expanding. This is crazy, all the growth we've seen in Austin, especially for American Airlines. They have a lot of new routes, and yeah, Legion has been expanding. Southwest is expanding. Southwest has been serving Austin for quite a long time. So yeah, so there'll be lots of fun routes in this airport date and the rest of this airport date, at least. So yeah, so there'll be some more great routes indeed. So nonetheless, we'll be proceeding on to the very first aircraft at at the main terminal building, which is the United Boeing 747-800. So let's proceed on to that. Alright, so on the very first aircraft of the main terminal section of my Austin-Bergstrom 1 mile airport, which is my first United aircraft. So United Airlines does have a presence at Austin, not a large presence, unlike American or Southwest Airlines. So they do have a presence, but most of their flights are all on mainline, which is pretty exciting because a lot of United's flights at mile airports aren't really on mainline. There's a lot of regional flights. So this airport, they have a lot of mainline flights. So pretty exciting there. So on the very first aircraft here, United Boeing 747-800. So this aircraft will be heading out to Houston George Bush International Airport. So that's a somewhat popular United flight out of Austin-Bergstrom International Airport. So and that is United Flight 2644. Alright, moving on to our next aircraft here, United Airbus A319-1. It's been a little while since this model's been featured. That's a somewhat decent Gemini Jets model. So yeah, so this United A319 has just arrived in from San Francisco, making a return flight there as Flight 2113. Alright, moving on to our next United aircraft here, United Boeing 737-900 in Eva Blue livery. That flat-out amazing Angel is released, one of my favorite models for sure. So this aircraft has just arrived in from Newark and making a return flight there as United Flight 658. Alrighty, moving on to your next aircraft here, the American Eagle Embraer J175. So all the American Eagle flights are operated by Envoy Air in this airport day. So American Eagle does have a wide variety of regional flights out Austin-Bergstrom. Yes, they have lots of interesting destinations, which is pretty surprising indeed. So it's kind of this is interesting indeed, and it's just crazy to say how much American has expanded over at Austin. So they do have a focus city here. It's not an official focus city, but I would call it a focus city. So yeah, just in my terms at least. So this American Eagle Embraer J175 has just arrived in from Indianapolis. We'll be making a return flight. There's a pretty interesting American route. So yeah, pretty interesting indeed. I am curious about all the load factors on these flights and the demand on these flights. So yeah, because there must be at least some sort of demand on these flights because there's a lot of interesting routes out of Austin-Bergstrom Airport. So pretty crazy to say indeed. So Alright, moving on to our sole Alaska aircraft in this airport update. So Alaska does have a wide variety of flights out of Austin-Bergstrom on aircraft that don't have like the Alaska MAX 9, which that will be changing soon, but I will be getting Alaska MAX 9 soon. And they do mainly operate a wide variety of Airbuses here, like the A320neo, which I'll also be in soon. But yes, but this models have not arrived by the time this video is coming out, so I don't want to delay this video another month because I don't have this models. So we'll just be finding the 747 Stranger ER because in this update. So I will be getting the Alaska A320neo in the more love delivery by NG models. But hopefully I'll have that by the time this airport day comes out. But if not, that video should be coming very soon for that model. The unboxing for that video, that is. I should be getting the Alaska Orca Max from Gemini just very soon as well. So I cannot wait for those models. They're going to be flat out amazing models. I just cannot wait. So yeah, so anyways, getting back to this model now. So the Alaska Boeing 747-900ER, we'll say he has just arrived from Portland, Oregon, and making a return flight out there as Alaska Flight 1254. I normally do the Seattle flight, but the Seattle flight is on a 747 MAX 9. They do also operate a San Diego flight, the 747-900. And yes, and they do have a couple of A321neo routes as well. And they do have some Alaska does have some E175 routes as well. So they got a really diverse lineup over at Austin-Bergstrom International Airport. So yes, they likely have this diverse lineup just because of their partnership with American Airlines, because they are a one world partner. So that's likely the reason why. So yeah. Alright, moving on to our next model here with American Airlines, or it was A321 Shooter with Charlotte. So this aircraft will be heading out to Los Angeles as a Flight 533, and this is a realistic A321 route with Charlotte, so really great to see there, and this is grateful we have this model on a realistic route for once. Because normally on most American A321 routes on my airport updates, I normally use the Charlotte version on A321 routes with defense tips, so grateful to see use the Charlotte version. So hopefully Intel's releasing an American A321 to Schooner with defense tips soon, so yeah, because I can't wait to get that model once it comes out. Alright, moving on to our next aircraft to this airport update. So yeah, moving on to the next aircraft here, American Eagle number ERJ-175, once again operating for Envoy Air. And operated by Envoy Air. So this aircraft is riding from El Paso as a Flight 3685 and be heading out to Tulsa, Oklahoma as a Flight 4240. So pretty cool that we're able to include those two routes, and I know some certain individuals who do this airport day, so shout out to them. TP Advocate and Red River Aviation, so they're great YouTubers, and I highly recommend to check their channels out. Alright, moving on to our next aircraft here, the beautiful American Airlines Boeing 737-800 with the new winglet logos. One of my favorite American models for sure in my whole collection, and she really did a great job on this model. So this American 737-800 will be heading out to Las Vegas as a Flight 1592. So American Airlines at Austin does have a wide variety of routes to sun destinations or tourist destinations like Las Vegas, Orlando, and some Caribbean routes. So pretty cool to see that over at American Airlines at Austin, Texas. So I'm sure those flights do well, and it's really cool to see that. And it really adds some diversity to the American Airlines lineup, because I'm so used to seeing aircraft like Dallas, Fort Worth, or Charlotte, or Philadelphia. So we're going to add some more diversity in this airport today. Alright, moving on to our next aircraft here with the American Airlines, there was A319-100. So there's plenty of American A319 routes at Austin. Most of them have defenses, so there's a couple of Charlotte flights to like airports like Orange County, but unfortunately I don't have the American Airlines A319 with Charlottes. Hopefully Angels will release that model soon. I'll definitely buy it because I really want to represent the Orange County flight, but unfortunately I cannot in this airport date. So yeah, so this American A319 will be heading out to Boston as a Flight 1413, and American Airlines is starting to improve their operations over at Boston. So they're bringing some new routes to the table over at Boston, so pretty exciting to see that indeed. And yeah, maybe because their Northeast partnership with JetBlue Airlines is a reason for that, but yeah, I'm sure they're trying to compete with other airlines. So lots of competition out of Boston recently, so maybe in the future we'll do a Boston airport day as a random airport date. Just let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see that. So yes, Citrus did a great video for that airport, and I highly recommend check his video out. So yeah. Alright, moving on to our next aircraft. This aircraft is a little backlit, so sorry about that. We have an American Boeing 737-800, the Gemini 2015 release version. Grateful to have two normal livery American 737-800s in my one for the collection, and yeah. So this American 737-800 has arrived from Liberia and Costa Rica, and making a return flight out there as a Flight 2135. Alright, moving on to the next model. So we'll be moving on to the Southwest Airlines section. So once again, it's a little bit shorter than it is. The section is a little bit shorter than it is in real life, but I'll represent Southwest more in the Hardstands section. So there'll still be more Southwest aircraft in this airport day, do not worry. So starting with the first Southwest aircraft. So this Southwest Boeing 737-700 Harley Blue and Winglets has arrived in from Amarillo as Southwest Flight 143. We continue out to Harlingen, Texas as Southwest Flight 143. So really cool Southwest flights there. And some interstate Texas flights. Always great to see there. Alright, moving on to our next aircraft. Here we Southwest Boeing 747-700 with the Canadian Blue livery with split skimmers winglets. That fly out amazing NG model. Definitely one of my favorite NG models right there. Great model. And yeah, so this aircraft is arriving from Dallas Love Field at Southwest Flight 152 and will be continuing to Oklahoma City at Southwest Flight 22999. Alright, moving on to the next model here, the Southwest Boeing 737 in a hard livery with Swiss Gemini wings, the 4th engine model's release. What a flat out amazing model right there, and one of my favorite hard livery models in my whole collection. So, this Southwest Boeing 737 has arrived in from San Diego at Southwest Flight 2349 and will be continuing up to Washington, D.C. International Airport. So, really cool flights there. Just grateful to include this model in today's airport update. Alright, moving on to the next aircraft, and keep it, and yes, and all the aircraft in this airport, they are unique. There's no duplicate models, no duplicate registrations, so that's grateful to see, especially the Southwest hard liveries. They're all different models, so yeah, great to see that. So this Southwest Boeing 737 in a hard livery with Swiss Gemini wingnuts. We'll say he has just arrived in from Baltimore at Southwest Flight 4122 and be heading out to Cancun at Southwest Flight 708, so international route there. Grateful to see that. And moving on to our next model, which is the highly beautiful Southwest Boeing 737 in the Missouri 1 livery. What a flat, amazing engine model. And the only special livery that came into Austin today I could represent, because the New Mexico 1 livery, Triple Crown 1 livery, and the JetBlue Vacations livery all came in today, but I could not represent this flight sadly because I don't have those models yet. Hopefully, Angels will release those models soon. So this Southwest Boeing 737 in the Missouri 1 livery, we'll say this aircraft has just arrived in from Dallas Love Field at Southwest Flight 296, be heading up to Tampa with that same flight number, a continuation flight there. So we're grateful to see those flights. And yeah, actually a correction. Sorry, but we had a correction here. So this aircraft will actually be heading out to Las Vegas, and this aircraft is arriving from Orlando at Southwest Flight 1834, and as a continuation flight. Yeah, this is the wrong route. Sorry about that. All right, moving on to the next aircraft. This is a great shot right here. Here are the Southwest Boeing 737 MAX 8. The great Gemini Disc third release. Besides the color one, I really like this Gemini Disc release. So yeah, haven't used this model in a little bit. So this Southwest Boeing 737 MAX 8 has just arrived in from Phoenix at Southwest Flight 2969 and be continuing up to Long Beach at Southwest Flight 2165. Alright, moving on into the Delta Airlines section. So once again, Delta Airlines mainly flies the Airbuses to Austin, no Boeings at all. So yeah, so this Delta A220-300, which will be operating for A220-100, just because I don't have another A220-100, I only have one. So wanted to feature all the A220 routes, so we'll be featuring all of them today. All of them I can today. So this A220-300 operating for the 100 will be heading out to Seattle as Delta Flight 988. Alright, moving on to the next Delta aircraft. Here we Delta Airbus A319-100, that great Gemini Disc 2014 release. I've used this model a ton recently in my airport update. So yeah, so this aircraft will be heading on to Minneapolis today at Delta Flight 2863. So great route there. And yes, most of the Delta routes are mainland. There's one regional flight which we'll represent later on in this phase. So yeah, grateful to see that Austin. Austin's been booming in the recent times. Moving on to the next aircraft. So speaking of the Delta A220-100, here we have it. So here the Delta Airbus A220-100 that needs some cleaning. There's a little dirt on it. Sorry about that. So yeah, so this Delta A220-100 will be heading out to Boston at Delta Flight 973. Moving on to our next aircraft, the Delta A321. I'm just going to let you guys guess, where could this aircraft be possibly heading out? And yeah, so this aircraft will be heading out to Atlanta. Yeah, of course it is. That's Delta Flight 2811. So yes, that is a pretty cool flight there. And yes, it's another Atlanta service. Most Atlanta services are on the A321 at Austin. So yeah, I think sometimes they use the A320 service, but most times the A321, just like many other airports that have done in the Random Airport series. So yeah, pretty cool to see that there. So no 757 service at all, which is I find quite surprising for a big airport like Austin. So all right, so moving on to the final aircraft in the left side of the main terminal building at my Austin Wilfred Skillman Airport. It's the JetBlue airline section, so which consists of just one model. So here the JetBlue Airbus A320-200 and the Spotlight Tail. So this aircraft will be heading out to New York John Kennedy as JetBlue Flight 794. All right, moving on to the international section at my Austin Wilfred Skillman Model Airport. So we have a great variety of international airlines that serve Austin International Airport. So we have KLM, we have British Airways, Virgin Atlantic, Lufthansa, Air Canada, Aeromexico Connect, and then Air Canada Express. And yeah, so we got some great variety over at this Austin Wilfred Skillman Airport. So yes, lots of interesting airlines do fly here. I did forget to mention Sun Country Airlines does have some seasonal flights out of Austin, and Tahoe's Air does have a couple of flights out of Austin, but they fly smaller jets, and there's no model that 1.0. So yes, did not include them. So I believe that's all the airlines that I did not mention yet. So yeah, so KLM does operate 77-9 in Austin, but hint, I don't have that model yet. Hopefully NG models or even Gemini will release that model soon. So hopefully they will soon, because I definitely buy one. It'd be great for my Random Model Port series in Jacksonville, so I can stop using the 777-300ER, which is kind of overkill for his airport. So I'm using the 777 today, so we at least have a KLM on. We can represent this flight. So yeah. So this KLM Boeing 777-300ER, where could it be possibly heading out to? He'll be heading out to Amsterdam as KLM Flight 688, so pretty cool to see that there. Alright, moving on to the next aircraft here, the highly beautiful Gemini Jets British Airways Airbus A350-1000. So, this is the Gemini Jets October 2020 release. I know a lot of you will be getting the new release from Gemini Jets from the September set. It'll be a great model, but yes, I already have this model. This is a great model anyway, so yeah, so this British Airways A350-1000 will be heading up to London Heathrow as British Airways Flight 190. So, yes, pretty crazy to say that this flight's on the A350-1000. I believe British Airways used to operate the 777 here and the 747, so pretty crazy to say that. So, yes, I believe on the schedule, they will be flying 777 this week, because I did see it on Flight Radar 24, but the day I'm filming this is on the A350-1000, so I know I get comments about that sometimes, just putting incorrect aircraft on the route, so, yes. Alright, moving on to the next one. This is poorly backlit, sorry about that. Here the Lufthansa Airbus A330-300, that great engine models released, and yeah. So Lufthansa does operate the A330-300 also, so this is a realistic flight. So this Lufthansa A330-300 will be heading out to Frankfurt as Lufthansa Flight 469. Alright, moving on to the next international model here with the Air Canada Boeing 747 MAX 8. So grateful to use this model again. One of my favorite Gemini Jets models for sure. And so this aircraft will be heading out to Vancouver, and this is Air Canada Flight. Air Canada Flight 1063. So there you go. Alright, moving on to the next aircraft here with the Aeromexico Boeing 747-800. This flight is normally an Aeromexico Connect flight, but unfortunately I don't have that E190. I know Gemini just released some all this, so I may get that in the future if I can find it for a reasonable deal on eBay. So we'll be using the 747-800 today, so we can represent Aeromexico overall this airport. So pretty cool how they fly here, especially the E190 is super unique. So yeah, so this Aeromexico Boeing 747-800 will be heading out to Mexico City as Aeromexico Flight 2687. Moving on to our next aircraft here is Spirit Airbus A320-200. Yes, so Spirit operates some interesting routes out of Austin, but most of them are just kind of just regular routes like this flight. So this aircraft will be heading out to Newark as Spirit Flight 2308. So I believe they did take some Southwest slots over at Newark, so they'll be expanding their Newark presence just a little bit. Even them are Frontier, so yeah. And moving on to our final aircraft in the terminal section of this video, here at Air Canada Express Bombardier CRJ-900. It's a Gemini Jets April 2022 release. One of my favorite CRJ models in my collection. So this aircraft will be heading out to Toronto Pearson, and this aircraft is operated by Jazz Aviation. So pretty cool to see that there. So that's it for all the aircraft in the terminal building. Let's move on to some taxiing aircraft. Alright, so we're seeing some taxiing aircraft now. So here are the beautiful Gemini Jets Virgin Atlantic Boeing 787-9. Yes, this model's on an old cradle model. Besides that, the model's actually fairly decent. So yeah, haven't used this model in quite a while, so we're using it today. So this Virgin Atlantic 787-9 will be heading out to London Heathrow as Virgin Atlantic Flight 232. So yeah, sorry about that little hiccup. Alright, moving on to the next aircraft. Here the taxiing Delta Connection Bombardier CRJ-900. I believe this is an Endeavour Air flight. So this aircraft will be heading out to Cincinnati or Delta Flight 4650. So really cool angle right here. Alright, moving on to the next aircraft. Here the Hawaiian Airlines Airbus A330-200. That's someone decent Gemini that's October 2020 release. I would not doubt if by this time the studio comes out, they do another re-release of this model for whatever reason, because they love re-releasing Hawaiian models. So there you go. So this Hawaiian A330-200 will be heading out to Honolulu or Hawaiian Flight 81. Alrighty, moving on to the next one. Here with the highly beautiful engine models Prime Air Boeing 737-800. So it's been a really long time since I featured this model. Last time we featured this model was in the Jacksonville Fictional Airport date from around December 2020. I believe this is the last time we featured, or maybe even before then. So it's been a really long time ago. So it's almost been 2 years, so we're be featuring it today. So Prime Air does operate a wide variety of flights out of Austin, Texas. They're not listed on the wiki page. They are listed on Flight Radar 24, so that's where I got these flights from, the flight info for these flights. So this Prime Air Boeing 737-800 will be heading out to Cincinnati as Prime Flight 3603, and this aircraft is operated by Atlas Air. So there you go. Alright, moving on to the next aircraft here, the Prime Air Boeing 767-300. Another aircraft that hasn't been featured in a very long time. So this is that fairly decent that Phoenix model I got around October 2020. It's been a long time ago since I received this model, already about 2 years. So yeah, crazy to say. So yes, I did see where the Gemini Jets model version of this did come out around 2017. There was like an eBay listing that went for $200. So it's crazy to say how much in demand this model is, and I'm curious if JC Wings, Phoenix, NG, or Gemini Jets will release this model soon. Do a re-release of it with the winglets. I would definitely buy that. So yeah, we'll have to see with that. So yes, it's clearly in demand. One of my rarest models and most in-demand models right here. So this Prime Boeing 767-300ER will be heading out to San Bernardino in California as Prime Flight 3438, and this is operated by ATI Airlines. So Really cool flight there. And alright, so proceeding on to the final taxiing aircraft since airport day here in the American Airlines Boeing 747-MAX 8. So this aircraft's taxiing to active runway for a flight out to New York John F. Kennedy. And this is AA flight 2287, so pretty cool to see some American MAX 8 flights to New York John F. Kennedy, so cool to see that. Alright, so moving on to some aircraft over at the Hardstands at my Austin Warmer Scale Model Airport. So so here's a Hardstand over at my Austin Warmer Scale Model Airport. So the Hardstands at Austin are located near the South Terminal, a little bit ahead of the South Terminal, so I just put them right here so we can represent them. And so we got some more aircraft in this airport dates. So now we start with the very first aircraft. So this aircraft wouldn't normally park at the Hardstand, but I just put it here because why not? So here we have an American Eagle number ERJ-145. Yeah, this isn't an American Eagle. This aircraft's operating for JSX. So yes, I did. JSX does fly to Austin and Gemini just released a JSX one, so I may go for it for some future random airport dates. But for now, we'll be using my American Eagle ERJ-145 because they do use the ERJ-145. So all that's different is delivery on this model. So yes, I don't really want to represent JSX, so we'll be represented today. So this JSX Embraer ERJ-145 will be heading out to Dallas Love Fields as JSX Flight 221. So really cool flight there, and yeah. Alright, moving on to the next aircraft here, the Spirit Airbus A321-200. And yeah, so this aircraft will be heading out to, Fort Lauderdale at Spirit Flight 512. And moving on to some more Southwest aircraft here, the Southwest Boeing 747-700 and the Harley Swiss Wings number 78855 Alpha, that great RM second release exclusive. What a great model right here. This Southwest Boeing 747-700 has just arrived from Orlando at Southwest Flight 1268 and will be making a return flight out to Panama City at Southwest Flight 1270. Moving on to our second to last aircraft here, the Southwest Boeing 747-800, that great first release NG model. What a great release. I believe this is actually the third release, but it is still technically the first release because this is the exact same model as the first release, just slightly updated, same registration and everything. So yeah, this Southwest Boeing 747-800 Harley, this file amazing NG model, has just arrived from Nashville at Southwest Flight 2878 and will be heading up to Chicago Midway at Southwest Flight 1295. And moving on to the final aircraft in airport day here, the second release Southwest Boeing 747-MAX 8, the second Gemini just released. And yeah, so this aircraft is operating as Flight 2361 and it's just riding from Los Angeles and be continuing up to Fort Lauderdale. And alright folks, so that does conclude this Gemini Jets airport day by Austin Warmer Scale Model Airport. This was the fifth random model airport day, fifth random model airport day. This was the second update for September of 2022. So yes, this was a fun airport day to make for y'all, and yes, it was just fun setting up this video. It's just crazy insane how big Austin's gotten in the last couple of years, and it's crazy insane how well we represented in today's random airport updates. So yeah, so I'm not going to be providing you guys much of a channel update in this video, just because this is a pre-recorded video well in advance, like 3 or 4 weeks in advance. I pre-recorded this video. So yeah, so if everything is planned, this video should be coming out on September 16th, so that Friday. So we'll have to see if that does come true. So yeah, sorry about this video not being a premiere, because likely this video won't be a premiere just because of school. And yeah, so by the time this video comes out, I am currently in my 11th grade year of high school, so hopefully it's been going well so far. And yeah, so as of now, I'm excited to go back to school, and I can't wait to see all my friends again. And hopefully school will be going well by the time this video comes out. So yeah, so that's why I've probably been inactive on YouTube and Instagram right now, just because I've been at school. So yeah, so that's the reason why for the inactivity. So I'm already going to tell you guys that'll be the reason why. So yeah, it's weird pre-recording the video way out in advance. So yeah, so here's the channel update. So the next airport day will be a Jacksonville Fictional airport update. So that'll be the 22nd Jacksonville Fictional airport date. So have all the new NG models and Gemini models in. And yes, we'll be also having a unboxing for the new NG models releases and some reviews of the new Gemini Jets releases. And in the first week of October, we'll be having the Southwest Luffield Fictional airport date. So we'll be having the third airport date for that airport. So yeah, can't wait to make those videos, and those will be some fun videos for all to watch, and hopefully y'all will enjoy the content. So hopefully y'all will enjoy the content. So that's it for the channel update. And so hopefully y'all really enjoyed this video. So please leave a like or comment and tell me how much you guys enjoyed the video. And yes, if you do want me to do a certain random airport day, I highly recommend checking out the Google form, which is the link for that is in the description below, where you can submit a random airport request. I've got a lot of good requests, and don't worry, guys, if your request doesn't get fulfilled yet, it will get fulfilled in the future. I have a lot of requests to go for you, so yes, I highly recommend following my Instagram as well, JT_pod_YT, where I post updates to my YouTube channel. I post lots of great outdoor model photos, some shots of my airports, and I cover random aviation topics, random model topics, so if you want to see that, go check out my Instagram. And yes, and you can also vote on what days I'll do next, and what models you want to start wish list phase, so on, and yeah, so highly recommend checking out my Instagram. So yeah, so that does conclude channel 3 for this video, and that does conclude this video. So I'm JT Pilot. I'd like to thank y'all so much for watching this video, and have a wonderful day, and have a wonderful weekend. Bye.